Hey everybody! In today's video, I'm going to do a very fun upcycling project with sort of an unexpected element. These are the cards that I will be showing you today, along with kind of what inspired this, which is the piece on the right. So on the left, I have two pieces of a LaCroix box. I drink a lot of carbonated water, so I always have these. And I have covered these with alcohol ink. On the right is the piece that I started with, where I had applied glitter paste and then added the alcohol ink after I had added the glitter paste. But what I found is the glitter, just the grit of the glitter, allowed alcohol ink to seep in underneath the paste and color it in that center section. So I thought that I would just pour alcohol ink all over my gel press, brayer it out, and then lift alcohol ink like a print with the LaCroix box to get that base of blue that I wanted. Here's one without the alcohol ink, just with paper glaze, and it's really pretty. You can see the pattern a little bit better there and sort of recognize it as a LaCroix box. So this is a floral slimline stencil from Picket Studios. I love this design. It sort of has a brocade look that I find really appealing. And I will just tape the cardboard box to the back of the stencil before applying the paper glaze. Now, this is going to create a pattern in the background that you're not any longer going to recognize as the LaCroix box, but it creates so much interest in the background. So I'll show you a little tip for applying pastes and glazes. I love this spatula because I can get a big dollop of it out of the container. But I found these spreaders I gave them out to everybody at my retreat, and I love them because they're bigger than a card front. So I can almost get the entire card done with one little pull of this Nuvo spreader. It has a nice tapered, very thin point, and the flexibility is good. So I will scrape off the excess back into the container, and always keep your lid on your paper glaze. This is a fast drying product, but that also means it's going to dry quickly in the jar if you don't take care to put that lid on. And be sure and clean your tools and stencils right away. So here is that beauty. I love the blue on blue, so pretty, but also so super interesting with the LaCroix logo in the background of this paste. It's just awesome. So I like to remove the tape from the project because otherwise any paste that was on that tape will dry and you'll end up having to trim that off of the sides of your project. So see what I mean about the dark blue in the background, just creating interest. It's very abstract now. You can't tell what it is, but it's interesting and it looks better than it would look if it was just one plain color with no pattern at all. Plus, you're recycling something that would otherwise go to the recycling bin. So I think this is great. I've started junk journaling and doing all kinds of things with junk mail and recycling. It's a kind of a fun way to pass this odd year's time. So I'm enjoying that quite a bit. I'm really enjoying the junk journaling. I think it's so much fun. So I'm folding over the part of my grid mat that had some wet paper glaze on it just to keep from making too big of a mess. And now I have a Gina K stencil that I'll be using for this second project. Taping it again on the back. This is just 3M Post-it tape, but it helps keep the stencil in place. One thing you don't want happening when you're applying a paste or a glaze is you do not want your stencil to shift because that will ruin the entire project. And I wanted a nice, crispy, clean pattern on top of this LaCroix box. And yes, I say LaCroix because I would sound like a complete idiot attempting the French pronunciation. So for everybody who's like, why are you saying LaCroix? That's why. That's a word I can say. So hats off to anybody who can speak French. I cannot. I know French. I can read French, but I'm not going to say it out loud because I sound stupid. Now I'm using a Nuvo glitter paste for this second one, and I'm going to show you a different way to apply it. You can put it directly onto the spreader, just like you would put a line of frosting maybe just at the edge, and then you can pretty much do the same thing. Now, these glitter pastes are also very quick drying pastes, so just be mindful of that when it comes to cleaning your tools and just kind of making sure that you don't really overwork it once it's on your project, because the layers will be drying as you're working. So I will start at the top again and press this paste down. Now, the cool thing about this sharp edge is if you go sort of perpendicular to the stencil, you can pick up the excess that's on top of the stencil and then use that to fill in any little gaps or thin spots, which just sort of naturally occur with these pastes because of their rough texture. So that is a handy dandy way to fill in those spots and make it more even looking. Same with the lid on this one. Make sure you put the lid on when you are done so that it doesn't dry in the jar. I'm not positive if any glitter paste can be reactivated with water. I don't believe so, so just be cautious with not leaving the lid off, which I'm famous for. I leave the lid off my glue like every night. Can't seem to learn that one. So same thing here. If you don't remove the tape, you'll be trimming off that extra paste that's on the tape. So I like to just do that preventatively and get a nice clean edge. So here are the two different versions. I really like them both. I love the dark design in the background. Oh, hi, Maddie. It feels very deliberate when it wasn't. It's just literally a piece of garbage. So I'll cover up the wet glitter paste again and let you get a good look at these. The blue on blue tones are stunning. So think about mediums that you have that might match a piece of junk mail, or in this case, a piece of junk mail that I colored with alcohol ink prior to adding the pastes. So this is where you can see that alcohol ink soaked in under the glitter and colored those elements of that card. It's much better to just either put the alcohol ink on or just leave it blank like I did in the other sample. So here are the finished cards. And in a surprise, there's a snowflake that's named after me on my blog today, this beautiful die. So head over to my blog for more information, and thanks so much for watching.